The role of Tambora Volcano Eruption of 1816. It was the year without a summer. A new study investigates what exactly happened. And another article did catch my eye while I was looking for this one, and it said that if we have more volcanic eruptions, because we've been having quite a lot lately, it will change the climate of the Earth. This is on phys.org by the Institute of Physics. Just in, the new study estimated for the first time how the eruption of Mount Tambora changed the probability of the cold and wet European year without a summer of 1816. It found that the observed cold conditions were almost impossible without the eruption, and the wet conditions would have been less likely. So it would have been more dry and warmer without the eruption. In 1816, they recorded exceptionally low global temperatures, with Central and Western Europe seeing a particularly cold and wet summer that led to widespread agricultural failures and famines. The 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora in Indonesia has long been assumed to have been the cause, with a link made as early as 1913. Now, using historical data and modern modeling techniques, researchers led by the University of Edinburgh in the UK, that's in Scotland by the way, have estimated just how important the eruption was. They published their findings today in Environmental Research Letters. The study's lead author, Dr. Andrew Schroer from the University of Edinburgh, said the eruption of Mount Tambora in April 1815 was among the most explosive of the last millennium. It had an enormous impact locally, devastating the island of Sumbawa. The eruption ejected a huge amount of sulfur dioxide, SO2, into the atmosphere, which would have quickly spread across the world, oxidizing to form sulfate aerosols. Quote, these volcanic aerosols reduce net shortwave radiation, causing widespread, long-lasting surface cooling. They also lead to a reduction in global rainfall while wettening some dry regions and causing dynamic changes in the large-scale circulation of both ocean and atmosphere, end quote. The research team used early instrumental data combined with new climate simulations to form two different models to conduct an event attribution analysis, and their aim was to determine if and by how much the volcanic forcing affected the probability of cold and wet conditions in this year without a summer, 1816. Their results from summers with similar sea level pressure patterns to 1816, using both observations and unperturbed climate model simulations, show that the circulation state can reproduce the precipitation anomaly without external forcing, but only explains about a quarter of the anomalously cold conditions. Dr. Schroer said, including volcanic forcing and climate models can account for the cooling, and we estimate that it increases the likelihood of the extremely cold temperatures by up to 100 times. It increases the likelihood of extremely cold temperatures by up to 100 times. He says, although the observed sea level pressure patterns can account for much of the observed anomalously wet conditions, even without volcanic forcing, there is strong evidence in the model simulations that the volcanic eruption increases the chance of such a wet summer over Central Europe by about 1.5 to 3 times. Mount Tambora played a dominant role in causing the observed cold conditions that probably also contributed to the anomalously wet conditions. Without volcanic forcing, it is less likely to have been as wet and highly unlikely to have been as cold. This is by the Physics Institute, and it's on phys.org. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.